Good morning once again. Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is K24 Alpha Jury, and as I always say, it is the #1 breakfast show in the 254. It is now time to rise and shine, and today we're talking about raising from failure. Joining me in this conversation is Reinhard Atela, who is an author and also an entrepreneur. Karibu sana to K24 Alpha Jury.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you.
Thank you very much.
Kindly tell us more about yourself. Who's Reinhard?
Now, Reinhard is basically a very passionate person. I'm passionate about change. I just want to see this generation inspired and transformed.
Yes.
So I'm an author of around 7 books. I've already released 3 books out.
Wow.
I'm also a businessman, interested in different fields of investment. I'm a student and a son to my loving mother.
And an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, right? Okay, and today we are talking about raising from failure. If you could just allow me to read something about failure, is that failure is not someone who has tried and failed. It is someone who has given up trying and resigned himself to failure. It is not a condition, but an attitude.
Definitely.
And that's where we start this conversation.
Yes,
It is
sure.
not a condition, but it is an
Exactly.
attitude. How would you expound on this?
You know, for me, I believe that failure is a lesson. It's a class, just like any other class you go through.
Yeah.
You see, so it's not something that should define you. It's something that should refine you. You see, there are moments you're going to go through difficult times, and most of the times you don't understand exactly why this is happening. You know, you'll beat yourself trying to understand, why am I going through this? But then if you switch off a little bit and start viewing it from a different perspective, maybe this has come to make me stronger. You see, what somebody said, that what didn't kill you simply made you stronger. You see, so failure for me has been a class, a lesson. So it's like I'm going from one class to another class. So it's a series of things that happen simply to shape you. And so that when you are out there, you're shining bright like a diamond.
Oh, yeah, nice. And someone once told me that, you know, when you keep on doing the same mistake over and over again, it's because there's a lesson in that mistake.
Yes.
And the reason why it keeps on recurring is because you haven't paid attention to that mistake to learn the lesson in that mistake. And I know, Atela, you've had a very interesting story, and you've gone through this personally. You have shared this with me, but kindly just share it with our viewers.
My story starts way back at the age of 4 when I lost my dad. We are a family of 10 kids. I'm the 7th one. And I lost my dad at a point when we believed we needed him most. But then later, 20 years later, I realized that everything that happened then was shaping us to who we are right now, you see. So I grew up in this setup. I could say a disconnected family. Because with 10 children, you don't know where to begin from. You're young. Nobody is here to focus on you, you see. So you have to, try and bring yourself up. So I would go from house to house looking for food because life was terrible, you know. My dad was a civil servant. Then we were so used to this good life. Then he passes on. So that was the first failure I ever experienced in my life, because to me it was the biggest loss. But then I grew up. From there, I started asking myself, what could be better out of this? Because out of everything that you're going through, there's a story to be learned or a lesson to be learned. But you either look at it as a lesson or a loss. So for us as a family, we grew up thinking that we've lost the dad. Then is there anything better? So today I wouldn't be talking to you about this because my dad was an academician. You'd be like, go to school. So 10 years later, after high school, I'm back to school. So a lot of series of mistakes and mishaps that you fall down, rise up. So these are some of the things I've been through.
Okay.
I cannot go through my story. It's a long story. You know, it's something if we start talking about now, it will be till the end of the day. But then jumping from one place to another, I remember in high school, I was a very good student in high school. But at KCSE, I missed 1 point to the university.
Oh.
You see? So some of these things I was asking myself, God, why? You see? Why would I just miss 1 point? Because my whole hope was pegged on the fact that I wanted to be an engineer. Then you go to school, you miss 1 point. You don't understand this. And now it's connecting because I am an engineer. I believe I am an engineer because I correct minds.
Yes.
My work is to
You're
work
engineering
on,
people's
I engineer
lives.
people's lives.
Yes.
See, that's what I believe.
Yes. Okay. Did you at any point beat up yourself or blame your father because of the situation that you were in at that particular time?
I've almost blamed everybody that I knew. Because after high school, I believed that my parents would look, my brother, who is my eldest brother, I love him so much, and my mother, they would look at it from a different perspective. Could we take this guy further with education? Then I left home. I came to Nairobi at the age of 17, and I went to stay with another brother of mine who was, at this point, really disconnected from reality. Then everything just turned against me. I went to the street. I didn't know how to even cope up with everything, you see. But then one day I came to myself and asked myself, what am I going through, and what can I do with what I'm going through, you see. So everybody I used to blame, I no longer blame them, because out of that, there are rich chapters of my story. See, everything I went through is forming what I now write. Actually, it contributed to who I am right now.
Yes,
so I no longer blame people. I used to blame a lot. And the more you blame people, you cannot learn anything, because you want to peg your results, your failures and achievements on people. Until you're delivered from the people factor, you're not going to be anything.
All right. So what was your turning point? What is the one thing that happened to you and it just got you thinking, you know what, actually, I need to switch a few things in my life. I need to take a 360 here.
I think it's way back in 2009. I was 19. So one night I was sleeping in one of my brother's houses. It was really disorganized. And it fell on me. The wall fell on me. So I woke up in the morning. I was
literally?
Literally, yeah.
Okay.
It's not a dream. So I woke up and there was this thing that told me, Reynard, do you know there's something bigger in you? You can overcome this one. But who are you? Who are you when everything is out, when everybody doesn't know the Reynard that is struggling, that is doing all these things to make it? Then that day I remember I wrote down one word that changed my life. I remember my dad telling me this when I was very young. My son, life is a fight. You either fight or you are dished out. So I said, oh, could I start a fight from this? And I wrote my first book, which did not come to the limelight, Overcoming Failure. So from there, I started thinking that maybe I have something. I may be a great person. That's why I'm going through this. You know something I realized? That people don't throw stones at mango trees with no fruits.
Very true.
So you'll never go through these hardships unless there's something great.
If you're not destined.
Yes. If you're not destined to greatness, you're not going through. You're not going to go through these things. Yes. So my turning point was at that age. So I wrote that book, and from there I started thinking, how can I fight? How can I fight? So I started doing small businesses. I started a poultry. I got the chicken growing so fast, and it's like the universe was connecting one after the other. So because from there, at the age of 23, I started my first business. I'd written this book, and I'd not published it. So I started that first business, which terribly failed. I've done 13 businesses, 13, I can say, companies that all failed. But later, I was learning through every step. Okay.
And this is the book, Is God Broke? This is quite an interesting title. Is God broke? Why this title?
At the age of 23, as I say, I was asking myself, really, is there a disconnect between man and God? Because I believe that there is this mandate that man has over the earth, the mandate of dominion. Go ahead, dominate the world, change it, make it a better place. So as I was asking this question, I also asked myself, I think God is not broke. I think there's a problem. It's either with God or with us. Then the answers came through this.
It can never be God.
It can never be God, yeah.
And you know, like at the first chapter of your book, you're talking about the power of thinking right, which actually has a very big connect with rising from your failure. And I want you to expound on this, the power of thinking right. How powerful is it, we as human beings, just to think in the right direction?
You know, I believe that the greatest asset that we have is our mind.
Yeah.
The mind can give you anything that you ask for it. There's a poem I love that when I bargained with life, it gave me the wage that I deserved. That's a poem, I think I've written it in the book. So when you come to realize that your mind is the greatest asset you have, you'll use it, tune it, and refine it. because it goes down sometimes, just like a computer. You have to refresh your mind. So for me, I believe that the moment you start thinking positively in your situation, you see, you don't have to be in the right situation to think right. There were times life really never had a meaning for me, you see. But every moment I kept looking at it in terms of, what can I see out of this? What can I get out of it? So I kept refining my mind. There's a scripture I love from the book of Hebrews. It says that renew your mind, renewing your mind. You see? So it's a process, it's a continuous process. You'll meet things in the day that are going to knock you out. But when you renew your mind to think right, think positively in that situation, it's not just about thinking positive. There's a way in which the universe makes it beautiful. Yeah. The more positive you think, the more positive you attract.
Yeah, and you know, it's easier said than done. Because, you know, how do you stay positive amidst, you know, that kind of a situation where you feel like the world is just against you, everybody is against you. And here you are telling me that I need to keep a very positive mind and to look at the brighter side. How do you keep that positivity?
It's not easy, but it's worth it. You know, for me, it's been that I focus on the goal.
Yeah.
So when you focus on the goal, as Paul says, that focusing on the future, on the things that are above, you know, the things that are above could be your destiny.
Yeah.
Where are you going with all these turmoils and winds that blowing against you? Yeah. Where are you going? So knowing your focus, you see, it will make you focus on the focus. So these are the things that are happening are simply preparing you. So for me, the best way to stay positive is to focus on the goal.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And there's a very interesting title. This is chapter 9, where you say, don't despise what you have. Don't despise what you have. And you've just said that you need to keep on holding to that. And that should be like your push towards your future.
Yes.
And now, for someone who's still going through a very difficult time in life, how do you keep on holding to it?
I wish I would tell you it's going to be easier. It's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's actually, we get stronger.
Yeah.
Because you overcome this challenge, another one comes tomorrow. So if you are in such a situation, what you have at that moment is the power of your mind. Is the power of believing in yourself. Believe that there's something greater than me. And the moment you find out this one thing, for me, it was like, my life is about changing people's lives. It's about going out there, waking up. Sometimes I don't feel like, you see, I don't feel like going out and doing this thing I love doing. But because I know, and now I'm so convinced this is what I'm called for, I wake up for it. So when you know that this is why I am here. Most people are struggling with that. It's called identity crisis. They are trying to do every other thing that they can to achieve. You know what brings this? Our push is money. I'm doing this for money. But unless you stop the doing it for money and start doing it for something greater than you, called purpose, that's the moment you're going to stay focused.
Okay, all right. Yes. And we are going to be giving away this book right here. It's been signed by Reinhard. So the question for the day will be, I actually did read to you guys the title of the first chapter of this book, Is God Broke? So please tweet at me, tweet at K24 TV, and let us know what is the title of the first chapter of Is God Broke? What is the title of the first chapter of this book? And we shall be giving it away right here on K24 Alfajiri as we wind up today's show. Now, I want us to talk about setting goals, because we cannot talk about like rising from your failure if you don't have goals that have been set.
Sure. You know, I believe that if you don't plan for success, you plan for failure. So planning goes way back into knowing what you want. That's the first thing. Knowing what you're going after. Are you interested in music? Are you interested in changing people's life? So once you know that, write it down and then break it down into achievable portions. For example, you can say, this year, for example, you can have a target that I want to change this number of lives. How are you planning to do it? For those who are focused on making money, I want to make this amount of money. Then break it down. How much do I need to make every day in order to achieve my main goal? So the major goal is broken down objectively into what I want to do today that is going to lead to what I'm going to do tomorrow. So goal setting actually prepares your mind. It tells the entire universe that now I'm ready for this. you see. So you need to have a life that is controlled by goals. You keep setting goal. If this doesn't work, it doesn't mean that's the end of it.
It's the end of it.
You see, set another goal for another chapter.
Yes.
And the more you keep doing this, the more things fall for you.
And I guess that takes us to our second book, which is To Rise Again, right? Kindly just summarize it for us.
You can rise again, even though you've failed and you look like this is the last point of my life, you can still rise again. The point goes back in knowing, was I born for this? If I'm born for this, I have failed. You know, the difference between successful people and failures is that successful people, when they fall down, they rise up, try to dust off themselves and start the journey again. But failures fail and stay there. As you put it when you're introducing this topic, you say that it's about not giving up.
Yes.
You see? So failure to me is not that you've failed, but that you've not given up. So that's what is in that book.
Okay. And they always say that you fall down 7 times?
Yes.
And you stand up the 8th time.
You stand up the 8th
So
time.
you never, ever give up?
Never, ever.
All right.
Never.
So I really want us now to go to surrounding yourself with good people. Because one of the biggest problems that we have as human beings is you kind of find yourself, you're surrounded by the wrong people, but you still keep them because you think that you need them. But these people kind of pull you down each and every time. And you know for sure they're pulling you down and they're not contributing to the person that you are destined to be, but you still keep them. So I want us to really demystify how important it is for us to surround ourselves with the right people, especially people that have the same vision as you.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you realized that if you stay close to a dog for a long time, you get to like the dog more?
Yes.
And you get emotionally attached to them.
Yes.
There's a quote I like that you are the average of the first 4 people you spend most of your time with.
Yes.
So if you spend your time with 4 broke people, be sure you're the 5th, you see. So for me, it's been about, I know there's a law called the law of association, that the people you surround yourself with actually determine the way you think. So if you think negatively, check around the first 4 people, you see. So for me, you need to come back to yourself. What are my core values? What are the things that drive me? What are the things I want for life? Then look for around 4 people who think the same. Because definitely they are going to affect your results. If you stay with them long enough, you will start thinking like them, talking like them, and even walking like them. Because we are in a world where people are looking for likes. You see, we are looking for someone to like us. The world is never going. Double tapping.
Yes, and retweeting.
I tell you now, how many people have liked my photo today? You know, that liking is simply a sign that we are not accepting ourselves. So there's this moment you have to come to the point of knowing that I am Reynard, and there's no other Reynard around here. And if you check my thumbprint, there is none else. So this is what my goal is, and this is what I want to achieve with life. Then look for people who will support that. You see, there are people who believe in you, and there are people who will never believe in you, no matter how bright your idea is. So get the people who believe in you first, then don't concentrate on the haters. Yes.
But again, just allow the criticism.
Allow it.
Allow
definitely,
it all the time.
Allow it. It's
visualizing your dreams. How do you visualize your dreams?
One, I believe that taking time away from the noise is the #1 way to make your dreams clear. You see, most people, you know, the day is crowded. You'll wake up, you'll find everything going hayway. Traffic, police stops you somewhere. So you need a time, at least at the end of the day, to just refresh, be alone. Then after that, think about this dream that drives you. Just sit down and think about it, because the moment, I've tried this severally, the moment I think about it long enough, I feel it's awakened. Sometimes, don't forget this, I'll also get at points whereby I feel like, am I doing the right thing? But then,
even question
yes,
yourself.
I question myself. Everybody did. Everybody who is great, at one point in their lives, they questioned their path. But then you have to know that this is the goal, and go after it with passion and confidence.
Okay. And we're always told, before you consider yourself a failure, think about the worst case scenario. What could have been worse than this? And many people miss on this, right? Right?
Sure. In 2015, I started a business, invited an investor who invested money in my business. And 8 months later, I lost all the money. That was over $40,000. I lost it. Of course, due to my wrong investment strategies and all that. So at that point, I was like, is this the end of me? Is this the end of me? Oh, God, am I losing it? Because the guy stopped talking to me. He accused me of every other thing you could think about. But then later I realized that the loss that I went through was a strategic comeback. Because when the universe realizes you want to focus on the wrong thing, it will do anything to make sure you get back to the right thing. So when I lost the money, I brought back my mind to the point of thinking again. And now the books are born. More books are coming because I realize this is a greater purpose. I'm not only influencing my life, I'm not only changing my life, but many people here. I love it when somebody calls and says, oh, I read your book at this place. I feel so inspired, you see? So that's something greater than me. So that's my focus at this time in life.
So did he ever come back to you just to...
Yeah, he came back. Yeah. Because, you know, your comeback, I believe, should be stronger than your fall down.
Absolutely.
And a man's success is not measured by how far you rise in life, but how far you bounce back when you fail.
When you fail.
So after that, I tried everything that could be possible to come back to the person I am now. So it was never easy. Do you think it's easy to just collect yourself again after everything has gone against you, the world is turning against you, everybody believes that it was you, you know? And taking personal responsibility is one of the key things that you must do at that point. Just believe that, of course, I failed. Where was my contribution? I would have done it better, but where was my contribution? So the failure, if you learn from it, it's going to set you up for a greater comeback.
And also just accepting the fact that you have failed.
Yes.
This was my mistake.
Yes.
It's okay, I'm going to correct it. All right, and you know, I always feel like, and I don't know whether you're going to agree with me on this one, but I always feel like one of the biggest reasons as to why we fail, it's because we don't write our dreams down.
Yes.
We don't write it down, right? And you have actually written down all your failures and, you know, how you went about it. And I just want you to tell us what you learned from writing down every dream that you have. Yes.
Oh, one thing you'll realize is that whatever you write down comes from you. There's a point nobody wants to speak to you.
Yes.
And that's the point you need to speak to yourself. So I believe that when you're writing down your vision, you're speaking to your inner self. Telling your inner self, you know what? We have blown it off here, but then let's do it again. So there's this person in you that believes in you 100%. You may be down there. Nobody wants to look down at you. But this person always says that, I believe in you. That person trusts you. So when you write down whatever you believe in, your dreams, your visions, you're like telling this person, I believe in it too. So let's do it. So writing your vision does not only kickstart or jumpstart something within, but it also gives you a reference. At least you go back and say, oh, I said in 2018, I would do A, B, C, D. Why have I not done this? What have I achieved so far? So it's also a point of reference. You go back and just find something to fall back to. It's called the dreams you wrote down. This I started doing, I think, in high school. Like before a term sets, I write down what I want to achieve in that term. And if I don't achieve it by the end of the term, I get back and ask myself, where did I go wrong?
Yes.
You see. So that's the beauty of writing down what you want to achieve.
Okay.
Yes.
And also setting goals for yourself.
Goals. Yes, definitely.
Because we always fail to set these goals because you want to be successful, but you don't know how. You want to be an entrepreneur, but you don't know where to start from. Or you want to be a farmer, but you have nothing. You have never even taken a book or going to the internet. Google is your friend.
Yes.
Just Google about it and just know. For me to be ABCD, I have to start from 1, 2, 3 onwards. And I really want you now to talk to that one person out there who's listening to you, and they feel like they have failed. They feel like they're not worthy. They feel like they have tried everything that they would just to make sure that they're, you know, achieving their goals, but it doesn't seem to be working out.
I wish I would tell you that I understand what you're going through. I don't understand what you're going through because you understand it better. But I can always assure you that if you don't give up, there are two options. You will either consistently keep moving forward or you're going to achieve it. But if you give up, there's only one option. You can never be anything. You see, there's the news that is trending about Prince Harry's wedding.
Oh, yes.
So I was reading, and I don't know whether it's a speculation that Meghan is a divorcee.
Yeah, she is.
You know, many people think that when they have failed in the first marriage, That's the end of life. There's more beauty after learning from the failure. What caused the first failure? You never know God is setting you up for better marriage. So you failed in your marriage. You failed in your business. That was just a setup for greatness. So I want to encourage you, my viewer, whether you have failed or not, doesn't matter. The most important thing is that never, ever give up. Don't try to be like someone else. You can never be any original photocopy. You can only be that person whom you're created to be, because inside you, there is greatness. There's this person that everybody yearns to be like, which is you. And I want you to always keep your focus on who you can be better than who you are today.
And that is your X factor.
Yes.
There's always that one thing that makes us different and stand out. And you need to find it within yourself,
Yes.
you know, so that people can embrace it. And remember, I had mentioned that I am giving away this book, Is God Broke? And the question was, what is the title of the first chapter of the book? What is the title of the first chapter of this book by Reinhard Attela? Please do tweet us, and also we are live on our social media platforms. Just to remind you that our Facebook page is K24 TV, Instagram and Twitter is at K24 TV. We have 3 books to give away, so get us the answer. What is the title of the first chapter of this book? Thank you very much for coming through. It was quite an informative session.
It's my pleasure.
And we hope that we're going to have you very soon, right?
Thank you very much. So in case somebody would like to reach me,
Yes, sure.
because I have these 2 books, You Can Rise Again and 9 Lives of Entrepreneur,
Yes.
on Amazon. So somebody can just Google it on Amazon, you get the book sent to you. This one you'll have to call me, so I would be glad to give my number.
Yeah.
So to reach me, you can be able to call me at 0729 93 15 32. Follow me on Facebook at Prince Reinhard Attela. My official page is Prince Reinhard Attela International. Then you can also find me on Twitter at Prince Reinhard. I believe that we can always hook up and do something great together.
All right. That's where we end.
For those who are thinking that they have interest in public speaking and you have interest to start now, we are doing auditions starting in June. We have auditions that are going to run all over the counties.
Okay.
So just call me and tell me what you think about, what you think you believe in, and let's do it together.
Absolutely, and we shall have all that information on the social media platforms, so just follow Reinhard right here. And thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you very, very much.
We hope to see you soon again.
You.
We shall now take a short commercial break, and then when we come back, it's time to get interactive, so you do not want to go anywhere.